back in Omaha against Creighton, entertaining the Evansville Purple Aces. And tonight's starting lineup, well, Marty Simmons in his 5th year at Evansville. Right place, right guy at right time. One of the great players in Evansville history. In fact, he was Colt Ryan before Colt Ryan. 6th in the nation his senior year as a great guard for the University of Evansville. His starting lineup tonight, a presentation of Slough Care Orthopedic Sports Medicine Specialists at Slough Hospital. They help keep you in the game. Kenny Harris and Denver Holmes, 2 seniors that have played very well the last couple of games, helping out Colt Ryan. Troy Taylor is one of the best small rebounding guards in the country in Sawville. Does a great job. Undersized at the 5 position, but still very efficient. For the Creighton Blue Jays, the only scholarship senior on this team is Antoine Young, but we saw what he could do against Long Beach State. Gibbs, it's appropriate. He's in the middle of the screen because he'll be in the middle of the offense, spreading things out. For National Player of the Year candidate McDermott, Echenike playing great inside for Creighton. Huge down the stretch defensively against Long Beach State. Manigault is going to have shots tonight. The question is, can he hit them? And Greg McDermott in his 2nd year at Creighton, his 2nd stint in the Valley. He was at Northern Iowa before. The first coach in Creighton's great history to post 20 or more wins in each of his first 2 seasons. And now let's check in with Mark Adams. Keys to the Game, brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com.
For Creighton, go to your go-to guy. Doug McDermott, you mentioned Grant Gibbs. He's got to distribute the ball, get it to McDermott, and stop the Aces' go-to guy, Colt Ryan. Touch after touch, you got to stop him. He's a success for Evansville. Defensive transition first. Great half-court defensive second. They held the Blue Jays to 40% and 18 from 3 in the victory at Evansville and win the turnover battle, which they also won, Mitch, in Evansville, 16-9. 2 key stats to watch tonight.
Our series history is brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Visit coventryhealthcare.com for more information. Again, Evansville shocked Creighton at the Ford Center earlier this year. Creighton, though, leads the all-time series, including a 14-2 edge here in the series on the banks of the Missouri River. Great officiating crew tonight. Jerry Pollard, veteran official, set to toss it up. Hal Lusk and Terry Oglesby. And Creighton will have first possession. Game on in the Valley. Quick shot, Manigault. That ties his number of 3s he hit at Evansville. Mark, he was 1 of 7 in that loss against the Purple Aces.
And Greg McDermott told us today that Manigault has got to make shots. He comes out hot early.
Just 8 of his last 23 from 3. Holmes, and he's been good of late, and he answers.
We just saw X-Factor guy versus X-Factor guy. Denver Holmes is the other guy that can score for Evansville. Manigault came out hot for Creighton.
McDermott will try it. And Cole Ryan with a rebound for the Purple Aces.
Watch number 11 in purple. Watch him move to get open, matched up with Grant Gibbs, number 10 in white. Key matchup all night long.
Very few teams have been able to shut down Colt Ryan. Drake has been able to do that, holding him to single digits twice. But Ryan had 14 in an upset victory in Evansville over the Creighton Blue Jays. Manigault trying to create something for Young.
And there's the double team down low. We're going to see mix and match doubles all night long out of this Evansville defense.
Harris drives. Ryan awaits and hits the 3. 6-3 lead for Evansville on 2 threes.
A good start for Evansville. Why? Defensively, they're mixing and matching their double teams. It doesn't come necessarily early in the possession. It comes bases on situation.
Young on the take on the left side. He is deadly. And down the alley for the Creighton Blue Jays.
And Mitch, do you think he's playing with confidence right now? What a shot to beat Long Beach State.
Taylor, who's not hit a 3 all year, and that was just inside the line. Evansville with numbers. Sawville set up on a great feed from Denver Holmes.
Really impressed with the active defense of Evansville early.
Sawville may have hurt his back on the lob dunk. He is holding his back, trying to hang in there against Echenike. And a foul underneath on Evansville. So we'll keep an eye on Ryan Sawville. Evansville is not deep inside.
His first personal, the Purple Aces' first team.
But Evansville able to get out in the open court, and a smart play by Sawville, giving the ball up to the shooter. Why is that important? Defender has to come up, which allows him the avenue to the basket. And Sawville now, they're going to check him out on the bench.
A back injury for him, trying to walk it off, as he'll actually walk toward the Evansville locker room. McDermott doing what he does best, posting up against the double team, and he'll go to the line. I've got to ask you, Mark, though, where is Evansville? You talk about a double team. Some teams will dig. Man, they're just trapping.
They're trapping out of it.
So where do they trap? How do they trap? What determines it?
Marty Simmons is banking on throwing multiple traps at this Creighton offense at different times of their offensive flow. When you scout Creighton, when they can go A, B, C, and get reversals, they become a very dangerous basketball team. Why? Because Doug McDermott works the angles as well as anybody. So before that can happen, they're looking for opportunities to trap down low, on the wing, and in the corners.
McDermott misses 2 free throws. His first 2 career misses against Evansville. And normally 83% at the line. Ryan. And a tip in. Jalen Moore with bonus points for Marty Simmons. And I'm impressed with Evansville's energy.
Jalen Moore, those are truly bonus points. There's a double team right there on Echenike, and he has to come away from the basket. Situational double team.
Gibbs, offensive foul, and he's hurt. He has been battling some knee injuries and just fighting through the pain.
Boy, Evansville has been nearly perfect in their half-court defensive execution. This has been an absolute clinic in the first 3 minutes and 36 seconds of this basketball game. Very well done.
Mark, they held Creighton to a season-low 57 points in Evansville, and this is the best shooting team in the country, Creighton.
Creighton went 4 and 22 from the three-point line that night. Impressive defense.
Jones walks.
Traveling Blue Jay basketball.
So now for Greg McDermott, knowing your traps are going to come from different angles at different times. The key for Creighton, keep the ball moving. Rotate it from one side to the next. Whenever you feel trapped, pass it out, reverse the ball to the backside.
Ryan again trying to get after Gibbs. This is out of bounds. Last touch by Evansville.
That's off of Evansville.
And Creighton will have 14 to shoot when we come back. But Evansville has come to play tonight, particularly on the defensive end. Is the E for Evansville, or is it for energy? Because the Purple Aces have had plenty tonight, leading Creighton early 10-5. Closed captioning for tonight's game brought to you by Emerson, the global technology and engineering company. To learn more, visit emerson.com. Emerson, consider it solved. Greg McDermott's trying to solve this Evansville defense.
Well, you talked about energy and effort. The energy coming off the defensive end. Greg McDermott needs spacing and ball movement. 5-0 points off turnovers so far. Advantage Evansville. Second chance points is that effort. 5-0 on the offensive glass for Evansville.
And Ryan Sawville still out of the Evansville lineup again. Injured his back on a lob dunk. Young will tee it up, knock it home.
Well, he is playing with so much confidence right now.
And Evansville giving Creighton a little of its own medicine with the break off a make.
Well, Evansville doesn't have a low post game. I mean, they are truly a donut basketball team. So how do you make up for that? You've got to create some tempo. You got to let your athletes fly. And there's a dangerous athlete right there in Colt Ryan who could make you pay a 94-foot from anywhere.
Grant Gibbs has picked up his second personal foul. If it stands, now the officials confer. They want to make sure they get the foul on the right Creighton player, and they're going to look at the monitor. Now this is the bucket by Young, but Evansville wastes no time. They bring it out of the net and get down the floor.
They really transitioned offensively well, and again, that energy and effort. They simply outran Creighton down the floor. This is a big call right here. Grant Gibbs, if this is his second foul, he's the guy that really makes this defense go. Grant Gibbs didn't touch him.
It might be Manigaw. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. So Gibbs will stay with one, and Manigaw is going to get his first foul, although Gibbs sets down.
Because Greg McDermott anticipated the call and sat him down. You can bet Grant Gibbs is going to be back in a hurry. He's the trigger guy offensively against that defense of Evansville.
And he's been the guy early on, Mark, that's been bird dogging. Again, now they're going to let Gibbs come back into the game. But he's been the guy who's been bird dogging Colt Ryan early, too.
Basically a correctable error. Well executed by the officials.
Good job by Jerry Pollard, one of the best in the business. Kenny Harris, 73% at the line. The senior playing very well down the stretch. In fact, he's been double figures 7 of the last 9 games.
Now, you love a senior that brings you that junkyard dog kind of attitude, and that's exactly what Harris does.
A three off the bench and drained by Avery Dingman.
The double team came along the baseline. Creighton went backside pass wide open. That's how you break the double team. Look backside.
Holmes answers again. Second time tonight. Holmes has answered quickly a Creighton basket.
Whenever the trap comes, look for spacing and ball movement from Creighton if they're successful offensively.
13 to shoot. Creighton a little confused.
Mismatch with McDermott down low. They didn't read it. It's still a mismatch.
Got little Taylor on him. Troy Taylor trying to hang with McDermott. Manigaw creates and scores.
You can bet Greg McDermott is going to see that. We're going to see that set again. The switch off on the screen, which created the mismatch for McDermott. Not recognized, but you can bet we're going to see it.
Manigaw, though, with a good start with 5, only had 3 points in the loss at Evansville on February 7th. Tough curl by Ryan.
Mitch, you hit the nail on the head. Evansville feels that they can beat Creighton on the curl. They're not fading the three-point line. They're curling right to the basketball and jumping over defenders.
McDermott calling for it again against a smaller Lewis Jones.
Well, you got to get it to him. There it is.
Didn't take long for Creighton to recognize it. And be a part of Arch Madness by stopping by Purina Dog Chow. Displays at participating Schnucks and Hy-Vee locations. Or visit archmadness.com to get our Purina Dog Chow Family Fun Pack. The pack gets you 4 tickets, 4 sodas, 2 popcorns, only $50. Get your Purina Dog Chow Family Fun Pack today. You ready for Arch Madness? What a great, great postseason tournament.
What a great deal.
Tell you had the feeling of an NCAA tournament anytime you open the doors at Scott Trade and you open this league up to the world.
Yeah, with all the success of Wichita State knocking off Davidson during Bracket Buster, and of course the stellar victory here in Omaha, Creighton over, I think, a great Long Beach State basketball team. This place just went berserk with that shot by Antoine Young with 0.3 seconds to go. It's electric.
Jones, clear lane to the basket, leaves it thin on the angle, and Rogge with a rebound for Creighton. Chapman, who was great against Casper Ware defensively in that win over Long Beach State. Goes right to the basket and draws a foul on the Blue Jays.
Team's fourth.
This kid is an interesting story. Troy Taylor, junior from Anderson, Indiana. You and I do a lot of games in a lot of leagues. How many times do you see a 6-foot point guard be one of the leading rebounders of your team and not take a three? He has not only not made a three, he has not attempted a three, and he's the point guard.
Reminds me of a guy by the name of Adam Emenecker from Drake. Another guy that rarely, if ever, shot the three ball. All he did was lead Drake to the NCAA tournament.
And one of the great years in Drake history.
One of the great stories, a walk-on that makes good. Adam Emenecker. What a great kid.
Rogge loves threes.
Much better job Creighton getting back defensively in transition. Well, when Evansville's gone their screen package and curled to the basketball, they tend to get shots.
Colt Ryan not playing right now. Sawville back after injuring his back. I think he's just right yet. And Cox drains it.
Lost vision defensively. Cox read it, faded out to the perimeter.
Evansville third in the league in scoring, leading by 7. Robbed at the rim, the freshman Avery Dingman. Kid from Branson, Missouri, and Evansville with a great first half so far.
And this stretch been impressive, especially with Colt Ryan on the bench. Here's typically where Denver Holmes becomes a lot more assertive along with Harris.
Chapman, great cross, and he'll get shots. This kid has a big future, doesn't he?
He really does. Quick.
Austin Chapman, the Texan, going to the line. We come back.
You could make a strong argument that Wichita State, the hottest team in the country right now, the way they're playing. How about Joe Ragland going for 30? In a word, he is a winner.
He's done it twice. He did against UNLV at home and against Creighton here on the road. And here's your to back up your point.
And Wichita State, in fact, you could stretch out to 2 years, the best road team in the country, and Creighton at 9-3.
And how does that compare to the Power 6 BCS leagues?
Not nearly as close because the Power 6 doesn't go on the road, Mitch, in their non-conference season. These guys have gone on the road and played everybody, anywhere.
What is it? Syracuse is the best BCS league team with road wins, right?
That's exactly right. But when you talk about the volume of Creighton, as we take a look at Colt Ryan trying to come off that curl again, Creighton wins at UAB, at San Diego State, at Tulsa, at Wichita State, at Missouri State. They're the only team in the country with 4 top 50 wins, along with 9 true road victories.
And I'm not sure anybody's been better on the road the last 2 years than Wichita State.
Nobody has. 18-3 on the road for Wichita State over the last 2 seasons.
Greg McDermott, what does his resume look like? You just mentioned all those great road wins.
There's the road wins right there. Neutral site win versus Iowa is playing at a high level right now. Home wins versus Nebraska, Northwestern, and that huge victory over the beach, Long Beach State this past weekend during Bracket Busters Saturday. I think Long Beach State is a team that's built to make a deep run. I think they're a Sweet 16, Elite 8 type team, and Creighton came through with just a tremendous victory against a very good Long Beach State team.
Holmes has been good tonight. Tough shot. Evansville continues to run its offense well, and they lead Creighton by 7. Doug McDermott has yet to score.
Really hasn't gotten that many touches. There's your double team.
And it's an offensive foul on Echenike.
They could end up reviewing this play because of the elbow rule. They're going to.
Greg McDermott does not like the call. Echenike's got his first foul. 5 team fouls on Creighton.
Now, the key determining factor, was it a basketball play? And looking at the replay, definitely a basketball play. I don't think this goes to the level of flagrant foul.
No, and I didn't see the elbow above the shoulders. When they're still looking now for flagrant ones, is the elbow above the shoulder because they're trying to prevent head injuries in college basketball. But his elbow was definitely below the shoulders of the Evansville player, Jalen Moore.
Well, it looks like it might have caught him through with that left elbow coming across.
They hit the three from Dingman when they fanned it backside against the double. They will not call this a flagrant one, just a personal foul on Gregory Echenike. The emerging story, though, here, Mark, is we have played 10 minutes and 4 seconds, and the third leading scorer in the country, Doug McDermott, has not scored in this game at home.
And that is huge, as every Creighton Blue Jay fan knows. He's simply not getting the ball, and that man is Colt Ryan.
Ryan swishes another one home. He's got 7.
Mitch, we talked about the keys to this game tonight for Creighton. Get it to your go-to guy and stop their go-to guy. And so far, Evansville with a huge advantage.
Manigat, another 3. And I said at the outset of the game, he's going to get looks. He couldn't knock him down at Evansville. He's doing it tonight.
He has to make shots tonight against this defense so focused on Doug McDermott, the number 3 scorer in the country.
Holmes, tough shot. Man, is he playing some ball. 10 points in the first half for Denver Holmes.
Well, Colt Ryan is the yin of this team, and Denver Holmes developing into the yang and really knocking it down.
And a hold underneath on Evansville on Jalen Moore.
Evansville foul on number 10, Jalen Moore, his second personal foul. That's the Purple Aces' 6th team foul.
Boy, Denver Holmes playing with a lot of confidence. If you sag off of him and go underneath screens, Denver Holmes now can punish you from the 3-point line.
Evansville is shooting 59%. But as good as they've been on the offensive end, they're even better on the defensive end.
You know, I've seen a difference in Denver Holmes after he hit that 3-pointer in their home victory versus Northern Iowa. It's a lot of confidence.
McDermott slithering underneath. And McDermott is over the back of Rokas Chesnalavichus, who had the defense, the board, and McDermott. He's not a kid that'll show frustration. That's the impressive thing about him. But you know, inside, he's got to feel just a little bit tense right now.
Well, certainly, because this Creighton team down 9, and the last time they were in this situation versus Wichita State, things didn't go so well, and Doug McDermott did show frustration.
Off Evansville, and Taylor thought it was off the knee of Johans Manigault.
Doug McDermott, plus 20, plus 60, plus 80%, plus 8 rebounds. The only player in the country, in my view, Mitch, the NCAA Player of the Year this year.
And he's going to get his first bucket right there. How good is he at angling, trying to create angles when he catches in the post?
The best in the country, plain and simple. The only guy that does it as well as him is Jared Sullinger at Ohio State.
Chesnalavichus has it taken away by Antoine Young.
We can tell this team when McDermott gets it going, they want to get into basketball again.
Gibbs, this would be rare. Nailed it. Grant Gibbs, 1 for his last 11 in the last 6 games from 3 until that one. And tonight, Evansville, as good as they have been, they are seeing some guys make some shots for Creighton who did not knock them down in Evansville. Gibbs did not score at Evansville.
And Grant Gibbs, he's an old school basketball player. Spaces out, feet set, hands ready, knocks it down. That kid wants to be a coach someday. I think he gets it.
He He started his career at Gonzaga out of Marion, Iowa, just outside of Cedar Rapids. And really understated, second in the Valley, 6 assists per game. He had 12 assists in their win over Northwestern here.
Yeah, he is a difference maker because he's got size enough to guard on Colt Ryan tonight. When he gets into gaps, especially against zones, he just picks defenses apart. Very cerebral point forward for Creighton. Grant Gibbs, number 10 in white.
Another big crowd here at Creighton, top 7 in the nation, trying to get excited and get their team rolling. Holmes spins it in there. What a night for Holmes. 3 threes in the first half, 13 points for Holmes. He averages 11 per game.
You know, Mitch, Colt Ryan is more than happy to give it up to the hot hand. He's averaged 20 points and 8 assists over the last 2.
Chesnolavich is fouling underneath on McDermott.
Evansville foul.
And so the big Lithuanian calls for the foul, trying to eat up some minutes inside tonight for Marty Simmons. Evansville playing well on the road.
And the reason is Denver Holmes, 5 for 5 from the floor, 3 for 3 from the three-point line. Why? Because Colt Ryan is constantly looking for him, giving the ball. Assist number 2 for Colt Ryan. Colt Ryan comes off the street. Assist number 3 for Colt Ryan. All to Denver Holmes. Mitch, not only is Holmes scoring, but he also has 4 assists. Evansville, 10 assists on 11 baskets so far.
We talked about Antoine Young's big shot to beat Long Beach State during Bracket Busters. How about Holmes hitting 2 threes in the final 19 seconds? And you mentioned his banked-in 3 at the Ford Center to beat the Panthers. And McDermott is 0 for 3 at the line tonight. Normally an 83% shooter, coming in after that Bracket Busters record, 36 points, 11 rebounds against Long Beach State.
I think we're seeing a little bit of an emotional hangover from that emotional victory against Long Beach State on Saturday night.
Jones. Echenique averaging 7 rebounds a game. And Josh Jones hits a 3 in the corner for Creighton.
Antoine Young, number 30 in white, knew exactly where he was going with the ball when he came across half court.
Jones didn't score at Evansville either. Now Jones getting after Holmes. Holmes wants it back. 10 to shoot. Ryan, strong cut, strong bucket. He's got 9.
Ryan and Holmes simply play in and out. Who's ever out, the other one goes in and uses screens. And then they just flip-flop and they just reverse roles. Very interesting offensive concept for Marty Simmons' basketball team.
They've combined for 22, and then Sawville late on the post defense, and Echenique just too big for his first bucket of the game.
The foul at number 0, Ryan Sawville, his first. Evansville's 18th foul.
And Creighton within 3 at 5:44 to go in the half. Tonight's Prairie Farms scholar athlete is Evansville's Trent Copeland, a senior infielder on Evansville's very good baseball team at 308. 17 doubles, has a nearly a 3.7 in marketing, a 2-time first-team Valley Scholar athlete. Brought to you by Prairie Farms and the family of dairies. Prairie Farms, Highland and Roberts. Farm fresh quality from our family to yours. And Echenique, a 3-point play for Creighton.
Watch how Holmes and Ryan work together. Holmes up top now, Ryan on the baseline.
Ryan trying to split the double and can't. Gibbs. Not his thing on the dribble drive. And Jones. Echenique second in the Valley in block shots. And again, Evansville giving Doug McDermott a lot of attention.
And we've seen the value of Greg Echenique on the defensive end. He can block shots, he can change shots. When he lost that 30 pounds, going from 300 to 270, he became a shot blocker at that point in his career.
Evansville is led by as many as 9. Holmes, why not? It's been his night so far. And Creighton on the breakout. Foul on Evansville. On Ryan. His first.
Evansville foul on number.
Doug McDermott, the number 3 scorer in the country, who uses angles offensively as well as anybody. Watching through the entire possession. He sees the ball. He reacts to the ball. He calls for the ball. He uses angles again, pushing defender up. He continues to move to use the angle. Uses hip, catch, goes up strong. Doesn't finish on that play, but there you see the anticipation, and when you don't trap him, Mitch, the ball can go into those angles, which is advantage for Doug McDermott.
And yet Doug tonight, see, just 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 at the line, and he will watch Colt Ryan, 16th in the country, and 86% at the line. He's in double figures with his 10th point.
I've seen growth in Colt Ryan this year. He's physically tougher. He's added that mid-range game. We've always known his ability to shoot, but what he's learned to do now is how to curl off screens and create offense for himself and for his teammates. And where I've seen the greatest growth in the last month, assists. He really distributes well now.
And if you're playing Evansville, you don't want to see him shoot free throws as a team. There's McDermott, able to get it inside.
Angles, angles, and angles. This kid understands the geometry of basketball as well as anybody in America.
Dingman is now on Colt Ryan.
With Denver Holmes just sprinting off the screens, number 34 in purple. Hard guard tonight. There it continues to go off screens. Illegal screen.
Kenny Harris, that's his second.
Evansville foul on number 32, Kenny Harris. That's his second personal foul.
Holmes today was almost like an additional coach for Marty Simmons and his staff. This is a good staff, too. And you look at Chris Hollander, Jimmy Elgus, these guys have been around. It's a great... Evansville's got something going on in college basketball right now.
Yeah, they really do. That new facility is beautiful, too.
3, Dingman. Yep. 9 for Dingman.
When Creighton explodes, it's massive.
Need to mention Carson Harris, too, on that Evansville staff. Now the crowd into it.
Watch Denver Holmes, 34 in purple, just move off of screens.
Ooh, Harris got by with a walk. Still 10 to shoot. A 3. Harris barely hit rim. Shot clock was running down. And Young to the glass. He's fouled. When Niles Media Group takes its cameras on the road in the Valley, these hotel properties, the home away from home. Please call these hotels or visit the websites of these properties when following your favorite team away from home. Second foul on Rokas Chesnalavichus. And Antoine Young has his 5th point. Young has suffered against Evansville in his career at the line. Antoine just 47%. As you look at Doug McDermott, setting down with just 5 first-half points. And as good a job as Evansville has done on Doug McDermott, they still trail by 6 with the flurry here in the last 5 minutes for the Creighton Blue Jays. 17-4 Creighton run. Holmes, great ball fake, and a foul on Creighton.
Creighton foul number 30,
Antoine Young trying to take the charge, and they're too late.
Number 34, Denver Holmes to the free throw line for
Close.
He's shooting 2.
And Holmes, who leads the Missouri Valley Conference in foul shooting at 89%, will get a couple tosses. Holmes, out of the south suburbs of Kansas City, played at the highly regarded Olathe South High School program. In AAU basketball for the well-known Pump and Run organization. 15 first-half points for Denver Holmes. Tesnalavichus with a block. Ryan on the bust out. And he's got 13, 28 between Holmes and Ryan. And Greg McDermott's got his use it or lose it first half timeout. He will take it, leading 39-37 after trailing by 9 earlier in the half.
And Doug McDermott comes back into the game now. Pretty much a late game situation. 44.3 to go. 35 on the shot clock. You got to think that Greg McDermott, the father, is going to be setting up a play with Grant Gibbs being the trigger guy and Doug McDermott getting a touch. Gibbs also inserted in the game.
This summer.
And the 9-second differential, even if Creighton runs this down, mark the shot clock down, Evansville's going to get another crack. But what about Colt Ryan and Denver Holmes of Evansville? 28 points combined for those two leaders of the Purple Aces.
Well, that's the problem now. When you defend against Evansville, you get into a situation where if you take away Colt Ryan with your best perimeter defender, all of a sudden you've got a problem with Denver Holmes now. He's playing at a very high level.
This game just tells you how tough this league is. Creighton is 23-5 at home, and they just have to fight their guts out against Evansville, a team again that beat them at UE.
Greg McDermott's going to run shot clock, only give Evansville about 8 seconds of a possession. Grant Gibbs 10 in white. Doug McDermott 3 in white. Antoine Young with the ball. Focus on those three.
Great job by Evansville, and now they'll get a crack. Holmes, Ryan, this is for the lead in the half. What a first 20 minutes for Evansville. And Denver Holmes and Colt Ryan doing a little Batman Robin for the Purple Aces. What jumps off this page is the fact that Creighton has shot it so well and yet trails by 1, but the fact that they have no answer in defending Ryan and Denver Holmes.
Well, we talked about Creighton defending. Colt Ryan had 34 touches for 16 points. And Doug McDermott not able to get touches. For Creighton, it's about their go-to guy getting him the ball and taking the ball out of number 11's hand in purple, Colt Ryan.
Keep in mind, just Saturday night in that great Bracket Busters victory over Long Beach State, Creighton trailed the 49ers by 5 at half. Taylor, great look to start the half for Evansville. Trying to get it into McDermott, and a steal by Kenny Harris. Great feed underneath, and more. Fouled by Echenique.
Remember how Evansville started this game. Tremendous amount of energy. Moved the basketball aggressively. Got easy shots early, and their confidence grew. So far, early in this half, we see a similar scenario in the first 41 seconds.
Jalen Moore, a freshman from Olive Branch, Mississippi, is getting a lot of minutes here. Let me tell you about this. It's one of the great programs you'll ever be a part of, and please be a part of this. Because with the first free throws of the second half, the Veterans of Foreign Wars Foundation, the Missouri Valley Conference, ask you to participate in the Return the Favor Charity Stripe campaign. This season, the VFW Foundation and the Valley encourages fans to return the favor to those who protect our country and their families. You can be a part of helping our troops by texting the word RETURN to 90999 or log on to NBCSports.com/charity stripe to make a pledge or gift to help our military and their families.
Menegal on one end, Denver Holmes on the opposite end.
And Evansville impressively breaking off a made basket by the Blue Jays, and now a steal. Ryan, easy scoop. And Creighton with a couple early turnovers in this half. They trail by 6.
I don't think there was a timeout call.
Well, there wasn't. Terry Oglesby saw the signal made by Greg McDermott. He was signaling a play call, and Terry Oglesby thought it was a timeout signal. So now that McDermott said, no, I don't want the timeout, let's just inbound it.
And now we got to reset shot clock.
But Evansville has started this half the way that they started the game. And again, Ryan Sawville for Marty Simmons had a dunk earlier but came down awkward. Looked like he injured his back. He's not had many minutes since then. And Jalen Moore and Rokas Chesnalaviches have had to fill in.
You know, and they've done that admirably, especially defensively around the paint area. Echenike, a big load down low. There he is.
And Moore hanging on for dear life, and that's his 3rd foul.
Evansville foul number 10, Jalen Moore. That's his 3rd personal foul.
The way that Evansville is defending Doug McDermott, they saw 2 defenders cheating his side. What does that do? Create space for Echenike on the backside. I'd look for Echenike to really exert himself offensively here in the second half. Well, it is physical down there.
And out of the triple team, Echenike with a bad pass, and Creighton gets it back. Menegal swings it to Gibbs, and a nice poke underneath by the Purple Aces.
Evansville playing heads-up basketball tonight. It's a well-coached basketball team. If they get a big guy that can really score on the block, this is going to be a special Evansville team next season. Already pretty good with that guy.
Colt Ryan has 21 points, averaging 20 per game, and now McDermott does want a timeout. 9-point lead. It ties the biggest lead of the game for the Evansville Purple Aces. 21 for the number 16 scorer in the country, Colt Ryan of the Purple Aces.
Northern Iowa 7-9. Drake 8-8. A log jam for those coveted spots to avoid the first night. ASP
avoid 7th place. Colt Ryan, 3 straight 20-point games, Mark. Drake held him to 7 points in a game I had a week and a half ago. Since then, he's exploded over 20 every night. The drive is there by Dingman, and an and one opportunity.
Count the basket by Avery Dingman.
And the most points for Dingman in Valley play is career high 14 against Iowa.
Avery Dingman has come off the bench and made a big difference for Creighton. And when you post up as strong as McDermott does, it allows guys like Dingman to slip behind. He had 9 first-half points and now leads off with a deuce coming right off the bench.
As good as Dingman is from 3-point range, he's okay at the line, misses the free throw, but a foul on Rokas Chesnalaviches. And that'll drive Marty Simmons berserk on a missed free throw, getting a foul.
Well, and especially remember Sawville with his back issues. Chesnalaviches, a huge defender in this lineup for Evansville.
And Chesnalaviches has 3 fouls, as does Moore, and those are the 2 guys filling in for Sawville. 5 second-half turnovers for Creighton in less than 3 minutes, Mark.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Doug McDermott's not getting very many touches. Only 16 in the first half. The flip side, Colt Ryan, 34 touches in the first half, and he's getting the ball in his hands every time down. Good denial. That's what you got to do. You can't let him catch it. You got to make sure he doesn't get it back.
Evansville is 6 to shoot. Ryan drains it on a tough shot.
That was well defended by Dingman. Simply better executed by one of the top scorers in the country, Colt Ryan.
Echenike post entry and a block shot by Kenny Harris. And Harris gets fouled underneath. And Menegal called for the foul by the Blue Jays. For the Blue Jays, his second.
Personal foul. The Blue Jays' second team foul.
Well, Kenny Harris gets the rejection and comes down the opposite end. Good hustle by Dingman to take away that shot attempt.
Kenny Harris to the free throw line for the
Manigat took a shot. He's talking to Hal Lusk right now, trying to get things right. But Evansville, much like they started the game, has taken the fight to Creighton here in the first 3.5 minutes of the second half.
You know, Mitch, you almost feel like there are teams across the country, and especially with Creighton coming off that huge emotional victory off of Long Beach State, which for all intents and purposes probably given them at least an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, regardless of Arch Madness. But you almost wonder if teams take a little sigh of relief at that point. And then you've got desperate teams, and Greg McDermott knows this Evansville team is desperate. They're trying to move up the standings, improve their opportunity at Arch Madness.
Harris splits a pair at the line. He says 2 points tonight, but he's been good defensively. Biggest lead of the night for Evansville. Dingman off the extra pass.
Creighton sure knows how to find the open hot hand, and Avery Dingman is that man right now, number 22 in white.
Former Branson, Missouri Pirate, career high 14. Jones inside.
Creighton simply observing defensively right there. It's too easy.
An illegal screen on Ethan Raggi of Creighton. This starts to resemble now for Greg McDermott. They lost to Wichita State. They could not get stops against the Shockers.
High level of frustration in Omaha, Nebraska right now.
Mitch Holmes is back with Mark Adams. 55-46 Evansville, 15:43 to go in the game. That margin, points off turnovers. That's the exact margin that Evansville has in points off turnovers. Emerson is proud to bring you tonight's Larry Bird Trophy update. After we take a look at the update, Doug McDermott, the National Player of the Year. But man, what a group in the league this year for candidates for the Larry Bird Trophy.
Well, Colt Ryan's line tonight, 23 points, along with 3 assists and 4 steals. Pretty good work. And Kyle Weems, a guy that I love him when the game's on the line. Joe Ragland, in a word, a winner. And Garrett Stutz, he's improved from his freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Greg Marshall's done a great job, and that young man has worked his way into a very enviable position post-collegiate career.
To learn more about the Larry Bird Trophy, go to NBCSports.com. Emerson, consider it solved. Wichita State could be this year's VCU. In fact, I'm not sure they're not better than last year's VCU team, but Colt Ryan could be an All-American the way he's playing tonight. He's 25 points. This is reminiscent of his 39-point explosion against Bradley.
Yeah, he looks like he's got 40 on his mind right now. He's able to catch it whenever he wants to. I mean, the volume of touches that he's been able to get against this Creighton defense versus Doug McDermott, who finally gets a touchdown low.
McDermott has just 5 points. Seven to shoot. The freshman. Chapman missing on a 3, and Kenny Harris. Great job by Evansville.
Well, Creighton with 1 post pass low, which invited the double team, that allows you to score. But the ball simply bogged down. Good rotation by Evansville.
This is going to be off Holmes, and enough defense by Jahins Manigat to get it back to the Creighton Blue Jays.
Creighton is number 30, Antoine Young for Jahins Manigat.
Greg McDermott knows that Evansville is going to double down, and double in different areas during different times of the shot clock.
Greg looked like Gary Payton on him.
One thing I will say about Colt Ryan and watching him throughout his career, I think he's getting physically tougher. And tonight he's moving extremely well without the basketball. And some nights he may not move quite that hard.
Well, he's headed for 40 points. This would be his 32nd.
He's upset with himself for hitting rim on that shot and talking to himself going back.
Again, this resembles the Wichita State loss for Creighton. They could not get stops. McDermott nowhere to go, and he throws it to his dad.
Blue Jays.
Another guy in purple did this to Creighton. Let's take a look, though, at Colt Ryan, what he's done tonight.
Oh, he moves so well without the basketball and the quick release. Curls to the basket. He's done this to curls to the basket again. Defenders continue to trail him. When a defender trails, you curl directly to the ball. He's executed it perfectly.
Another guy in purple did this here. Drew Crawford of Northwestern had 34 against Creighton. Ryan tonight, 32. They can't hang. Manigau's got his 4th foul.
Creighton foul called on number 12. So hands Manigault his 4th personal foul.
When do you start going to drastic measures? You box in 1 or triangle in 2, and
Colt Ryan to the free throw line, shooting 1 and
here comes Gibbs. He's going to try it again.
Well, bottom line, there's 2 options for you. One would go to be your box and 1 defense. The other would be to assign a specific defender who's off of Ryan, that whenever he catches it, you run at him. You enforce Jordan rules on Colt Ryan and just run at him and make him pass it to anybody else.
Miss for Ryan. He's sitting on 33 points. Creighton is down by 12 with 10 minutes to go in the half. McDermott defended by Harris.
Boy, you just defend him, you just go after screen after screen after screen. I think that's Marty Simmons' strength as a coach, getting his guys open in this motion offense.
And Gibbs overruns a screen, and that's his 4th foul. So Greg McDermott is running out of options of guys trying to bird dog Colt Ryan.
Colt Ryan comes off the screen as he moves without the basketball, shoulder to hip again, and defender runs right through the screen. There's just no separation between the screen and Colt Ryan.
And Holmes, who's #1 in the Valley at foul shooting, at 89%, misses a free throw. I mean, Creighton's getting some chances here when Holmes and Ryan are missing foul shots. And he's not going to miss 2 in a row. That's 18 for Holmes after he had 15 in the first half. Young finds on the counter. They find McDermott on the counter. He's in double figures with 10.
But here is where Creighton must make a stand defensively. Holmes.
Boom, Holmes. And the Aces just keep on calling Trump. Clubs, spades, diamonds, and hearts. They can call them all. And a reach in on Evansville.
Evansville foul on number 5, Troy Taylor.
Holmes has 21. He's nearing a career high.
Blue Jays into the double bonus.
Senior from Olathe, Kansas, unconscious, along with Colt Ryan. It's like they're playing a video game tonight. It's just easy for them.
Yeah, they're really knocking down shots. You know, the thing that's been interesting about it, they haven't forced shots. They've run their offense. They've used some clock. Colt Ryan has 49 touches on the night. Conversely, McDermott, 24 touches on the night. He's doubled them up. We talked about those keys. Go to your go-to guy for Creighton. Stop their go-to guy. So far, the go-to guy for the Aces is just too good.
Curl, Holmes, bucket. Ties a career high. Set his junior year against Drake.
Well, Evansville has figured out you play against the Creighton man-to-man defense, curl, curl, curl.
Dingman had nowhere to go, so he had to go to desperate measures to keep the possession. This is one of those nights as a coach where Greg McDermott's thinking, I'm not sure I got an answer for these guys. Evansville has been so close this year. They're 14-13, but lost 7 games by 14 points.
Denver Holmes made him miss that shot. Holmes with a aggressive challenge along the bench of Creighton.
Well, here's the president, Colt Ryan, his vice president, Denver Holmes, crisscrossing. What a nightmare for Creighton. Jones with the strip. Manning out of control. McDermott on the follow. The time is at hand.
Marty Simmons wants to run a lot of clock with a lot of screens and give to this guy.
Echenike with the defense off Ryan. Marty Simmons begs to differ. At the under out, it's still a double-digit lead for Evansville on an incredible night for Colt Ryan and Denver Holmes. Stunner here in Evansville. 56 points from Denver Holmes and Colt Ryan. Evansville the double-digit lead. Hey, tonight's date in Valley history is brought to you by the VFW Foundation. Creighton's Latrell Wrightsell, 8 steals, 15 points. The Blue Jays defeated Drake back in 1991 at the old Civic Auditorium. The VFW Foundation and the Valley ask you to participate in the Return the Favor Charity Stripe campaign. Visit NBCSports.com/CharityStripe to find out how you can return the favor to our military members and their families. Seriously, one of the great programs in our country. Holmes and Ryan, 56 of the 71 Evansville points.
And how about Denver Holmes with 7 assists to go along with the 23 points. And Colt Ryan's been pretty good defensively as well with 4 steals to go along with his 33 big points tonight.
Manigault tries to leave Holmes in the dust. And Terry Ogilvy's got the ticket. It'll be on Holmes, his second personal. Both teams in the double bonus the rest of the way, and we got a ways to go at 7:29.
What is Arch Madness going to be like?
Well, you know what? This could be a 2-7 game. You could be having a first round, a quarterfinal game right here. I'm just saying.
The Valley is just so deep. We clearly have 2 excellent basketball teams in Wichita State and Creighton. They've earned that right to be called excellent. And then there's just a logjam of good basketball teams, of which any one of them, if they get hot, can win this thing in Arch Madness. And we're looking at one of them tonight in Evansville.
Trying to sweep Creighton. Another curl by Ryan. Another bucket by Ryan. 35 for Colt Ryan, the most ever by an opponent against Creighton in this building.
And let me guess who did it the last time. Brian Roberts of the Dayton Flyers in 2005.
And Drew Crawford of Northwestern this year. The 3 missed by McDermott, his first 3-point attempt of tonight.
Boy, Evansville seemingly can get a shot whenever they want it. Just watch 34 in purple and 11 in purple move without the basketball. That's all you've got to watch.
Cox trying to weave through and get a shot. McDermott with the rebound. Young, near turnover. Jones, deep 3 in the corner. He had 8 huge points to beat Northwestern here back in December.
Jones is the one guy that really makes things happen. Will it happen now for Creighton?
And a steal. Young fouled. Colt Ryan has 3.
Evansville foul number 11, Colt Ryan, his 3rd personal foul.
The defensive effort by Creighton gets Antoine Young in the open court.
Antoine Young to the
One thing about this kid in the second half, he has been aggressive with the basketball. Number 30 in white, Antoine Young.
Young at the line, 8 of 8 tonight.
Substitutions by Evansville. Number 4, Lewis Jones. Number 5, Troy Taylor. Number 25, Rokas Chesnolovichus.
Evansville 4-4 against the top 100 this year. One of those victories in Evansville against Creighton. Can they finish it tonight in Omaha?
Creighton scores with the clock stopped within 7. Still 5:50 to go. Offensive foul.
Offensive foul.
Holmes, that's 3.
34, Denver Holmes. His 3rd personal foul. Blue Jay basketball.
Marty Simmons doesn't like the call. Finally, a Blue Jay defender jumped the route on the curl in anticipation and took the charge.
Young throws it away.
Guess who stole it? Colt Ryan.
Timeout, Marty Simmons. And Simmons still with 25 seconds on this possession. And I'm surprised the last possession Young didn't attack Chesnolovichus.
Well, now Marty Simmons with the basketball in his hands. He knows that Creighton jumped the route on the curl the last time. So how do you adjust? Look, back cut. Look, slip to the basket.
Again, Evansville lost center Ryan Sawville to a back injury early in the game. We've not seen him in the second half. And foul's an issue here for Evansville. They continue just to plod along. And Colt Ryan tonight, 35 points.
And if you're Creighton coming out of the timeout, maybe a good defensive option is double team the ball. Take one shot at that turnover in your half-court set. I think you got to run a defender at him. There it is.
And another foul. This is on Ryan, and that's 4 fouls on Colt Ryan.
Offensive foul against number 11, Colt Ryan, his 4th personal foul.
2 offensive fouls, and Marty Simmons perplexed.
Substitution.
Colt Ryan turns into the defender, and they make the call.
He's in for Colt Ryan.
Ryan has to set.
A lot of times you get away with that on a dribble handoff. Not now. They really want McDermott.
Young reads the double.
Good pass out of the post by Doug McDermott. He read it quickly and definitively.
5-point game. And now Holmes held by Manigat, and he is fouled out of the game. Manigat disqualified at 4:34 to go in the game.
Creighton foul number 12, Jahiz Manigat. That is his 5th personal foul.
Now, Greg McDermott's going to use all of this 30-second time allotment for Manigat to leave the game and substitute in to use this as a timeout for all intents and purposes.
It's an 11-2 Creighton run. Manigat has 12 points fouling out, but he had 8 of those in the first half. And Marty Simmons now has a chance to buy a little time and still score by putting Denver Holmes, the Valley's best foul shooter, at the line. He's trying to buy time with Colt Ryan on the bench with 4 fouls.
And now Avery Dingman comes into the game. And remember, Marty Simmons ran Avery Dingman off of screen after screen after screen when he was in the game.
To the free throw line for Evansville. Number 34, Denver Holmes.
Holmes 3 for 4 tonight, but he's 89% for the year.
Now Colt Ryan will sit for 34 seconds out of the TV timeout. He'll be right back in the game.
A new career high for the senior from Olathe South in Kansas City. Denver Holmes, 24 points. Magnificent tonight for Evansville.
Blue Jays substitution is number 34, Ethan Rocky for Gregory Echenique.
Mitch, remember the last possession? Creighton got it down to Doug McDermott, and we saw the double team. If you're Creighton, you continue to go to that well because Doug McDermott is making quick and definitive decisions out of that double. He's got a smaller defender who can take him on the block. They read it. You got to get it to him. You have to get it to him.
He goes around Taylor to the rack, and he's going to the line.
Evansville foul against number 5, Troy Taylor.
Doug McDermott recognized at the top of the key he had a smaller defender. Now he's getting some help on the backside, so what does he do? He adjusts his angle out toward the perimeter where he still knows he has a size advantage. That's smart.
Creighton running out of troops to try to guard Holmes and Ryan. Evansville is running out of troops to try to guard McDermott. Taylor now has 4 fouls. The casualty list could be high. Still 4:13 to go.
The battle of attrition right now.
Manigault already fouled out for Creighton.
But as long as Evansville has Colt Ryan, number 11, and Denver Holmes, number 34, I'm not sure they need anybody else.
Play 2 on 5. Back to 5. Cox on the baseline. Tough shot, Ned Cox.
Right over the top shot blocker in the Missouri Valley, Greg Echenique.
Inside, McDermott leaves it short. And a foul underneath on Lewis Jones. He's gone. With 3:49 to go in the game, Evansville has lost its first soldier. Creighton's already lost one. Where will this end? And here is the reset. The arrow in favor of the Blue Jays. Both teams were in the double bonus a long time ago, and still timeouts for both coaches. And Ryan back in with his 4 fouls. Creighton has overcome double-digit deficits 3 times for wins this year. San Diego State in a gigantic win. Wichita State at the Roundhouse, and then also against Northern Iowa.
Of course, they came back against Long Beach State as well in the bracket buster victory. If you're Marty Simmons, you know that Doug McDermott's going to get the ball anytime he can get it on the offensive end.
Another missed free throw. McDermott's been there 11 times and missed 6. 6-point game, 3:39 to go.
For this two-headed monster, Denver Holmes, 34 in purple. Colt Ryan, number 11 in purple. They just move without the ball. Clear out.
Yeah, they post him up. Ryan scores and an and-one opportunity. What a night for Colt Ryan.
Marty Simmons runs shot clock, and they isolate Colt Ryan down low. 4 purple jerseys on the opposite side of the court. They isolate Ryan low, perfectly executed.
And he misses a free throw. He has missed 3 shots tonight at the line in 8 attempts, normally 86%. Young. Foul, Jalen Moore, that's his 4th.
Evansville foul number 10, Jalen Moore, his 4th personal foul.
Great chess match. We looked at the clear out for Colt Ryan. And then Greg McDermott comes out with dribble drive from Antoine Young going left and circled Doug McDermott behind. And he was wide open. We're going to see that again.
Young is 11 of 11 at the stripe. 3:11 to go. 6-point lead, Evansville. And Evansville has answered all night long. Drive. And a stop by Echenique.
Good decision. McDermott working the post.
And the pass from Josh Jones.
He absolutely beat him up on the post. He outran everybody and created his own angle.
Timeout, Marty Simmons. He's got one left. But Creighton has struggled tonight, mainly because of Evansville defense, but also recognition of getting the ball to McDermott.
He outran everybody and then recognized the angle. Look at him create the angle. He started off in the middle of the paint, recognized the ball came left, and took a knife cut to the block for the finish. Doug McDermott, standing tall as a sophomore. Only two men, as sophomores, standing 6'7" or taller, have averaged 22 points per game or more. Doug McDermott and a guy by the name of Blake Griffin. Doug McDermott, for my money, is the National Player of the Year, and don't even argue with me about it.
But tonight, Colt Ryan is the National Player of the Evening.
No question.
37 points for Colt Ryan. But this is the closest that Creighton has been since being down 45-41 early in the second half.
Can Doug McDermott will his team to win, or can Colt Ryan do the same for Evansville?
And Ryan just looked at me and kind of smiled and nodded.
He knows exactly what we're talking about. Game time.
Ryan again. Just pounds it home. That ties his career high. 39 for Colt Ryan.
Evansville foul on number 22, Ned Cox.
Little inside triangle, screen for screener. He comes down, waits for the screen, curls right to the basketball. A little fade right there.
Antoine Young's going to the line. He has got a career best 12 for 12, but it's Colt Ryan's night. He had 39 against Bradley earlier this year, 39 tonight on the road against Creighton. Young's first miss.
Brent Gibbs substituting in for Avery Newman.
One shot, White straight in. Rebound. Hey, we gotta have this movement.
5-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
The luxury for Marty Simmons, ride that Colt.
Hey, the Colts a stallion tonight. And a foul on Young. Foul on Cox.
The second personal foul.
And Cox is 88%.
Antoine Young doing everything he can to try to take away dribble penetration routes from Cox.
6 times this year, Evansville has shot 90% as a team at the line. They are 10th in the country in free throw shooting.
4-4 against the top 100 with a win over Creighton. Creighton, the only team in the nation to have 4 wins over the top 50 and 9 true road victories.
And don't forget how they started the year, beating Butler to open up the Ford Center, their brand new facility in downtown Evansville. McDermott, a 3. Timeout, Creighton. Oh, by the way, McDermott leads the Valley in three-point shooting at 49% from 3.
They've used him on the block time after time, and the defender cheats on him. Watch the defender. He comes up, and he just simply comes right up because they're anticipating that McDermott will go to the block again. And he is wide open.
And Creighton has struggled getting stops. They got those stops down the stretch Saturday against a great Long Beach State team. They could not get them against Wichita State. And tonight they cannot get them against Colt Ryan with a career-high 39 or Denver Holmes with a career-high 25.
If you're Greg McDermott, you have one defensive goal. Don't let Colt Ryan catch the basketball. Ryan's taking the ball out of bounds. Once he inbounds it, you shadow him. I don't care if you take two defenders. You shadow him. Don't let him have the ball. They want Ned Cox to come and run this so they can run Ryan and Holmes off of multiple screens.
Chapman. Cox gets around the defenders in the lane, losing control of the ball, and Kenny Harris comes out of there with it. And now he goes down. And a shot clock violation on Evansville. This game's turned into the Battle of Antietam.
Greg Echenique can change the basketball game with his ability to defend in the paint. Shot clock running down. Smart defense by not reaching. It's tempting, but they were disciplined.
Now can Evansville get a stop?
Pretty simple who they want to have the basketball. Number 3 in white, Doug McDermott.
Young trying to create contact. Echenique trails. 2-point game at 54.2.
I think Arch Madness has started early. I don't think Colt Ryan is going to give this up. They're going to run him off of ball screens. He's going to make a play. Because if he gives it up, he may not get it back.
Five to shoot. It's a problem for Evansville. 2 to shoot. Holmes, did he get it off in time? No. Shot clock violation. 2 in a row for Evansville. And that time, Evansville never got the ball in the attack position. And a timeout. Creighton calls it. 83-81 Evansville. Let's take a look at our State Farm players of the game. For Auto, Home, Life, and Banking, get you a better state. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. You don't have to go to statefarm.com to get the Evansville player of the game. 39 points for Colt Ryan.
But now it's about defense for Evansville and Colt Ryan, and Antoine Young with 19 points, 7 assists. Remember, Saturday night against Long Beach State, in the biggest game for Creighton this season, Antoine Young hit the shot with 0.3 seconds to go. The luxury for Greg McDermott, he's got Antoine Young who can pin his ears back and get to the rack, and you've also got the versatility of Doug McDermott who can circle behind from the three-point line off the dribble penetration.
I got to ask you, Mark, if you're Creighton having the dip, now you've had 2 shot clock stops the last 2 times, but do you play this down and play for 2 to go to overtime, or 3 to win it, or do you try to get your first good look? Because you're having a hard time stopping them.
I'm going to get my first good look, and it's a great point and an NBA point in many ways. The bottom line is you've got to either tie or take the lead sometime, and I'm going to run something early that might give me a good look early, and then you're in attack mode from there and run it down.
Evansville led by as many as 14. The reset. Again, Creighton has the arrow, and both teams have timeouts left. Colt Ryan
Greg McDermott still has one timeout left. He may look at an early quick hit, and if it doesn't work, then use the timeout, reset for the last second play.
Ball screen. Young puts up a shot. Can't get it. Tip. Yes! Tip! Will it count?
It was good.
Look at the count it.
It was good.
They will look at the monitor to make sure. Jerry Pollard goes to the monitor.
No question in my mind, in live action, that shot was good. This is fun, partner.
Creighton will have first possession in the extra period. Echenike has pressure relief. And now 12 to shoot for Creighton. 5 to shoot.
Well, it looks like a hot potato. Almost nobody wants it except for Antoine Young.
Weird angle. Off balance. 21 points for Antoine Young. He's closing in on a career high.
Colt Ryan running off screen after screen.
Ryan sets up underneath to Taylor. So Ryan that time a decoy, and Antoine Young is down.
Colt Ryan over the last 2 games has averaged 20 points and 8 assists. We see how unselfish he is as a scorer. He fed Denver Holmes early in this basketball game to get Holmes into his rhythm, and then Colt Ryan decided to take over. Look, and draw the defender. Good movement along the baseline. Colt Ryan becoming a multi-dimensional offensive weapon.
McDermott, strong cut. Echenike with the hustle, but Evansville with the toughness of Troy Taylor, one of the best small rebounding guards in the country.
Yeah, they list him at 6 foot. He's 5 foot nothing. Marty Simmons wants to see more ball movement. Evansville's been successful when they move the ball to and fro. It's starting to bog down.
Ryan, tough shot, creating space. 41 points for Colt Ryan.
How many times can Creighton dodge this upset bullet?
Echenike, bodies down. Ball fake bucket. Echenike's got 9.
Too big, too strong.
Substitution, number 10, Greg Gibbs, in for Avery Liggum.
And Greg McDermott plays it 2 platoon basketball, getting Chapman in the game. He was the guy that defended Casper Ware Saturday night. A career high 41 for Colt Ryan. Incredible tonight.
McDermott bringing some defense off the bench, more quickness off the bench. Grant Gibbs, number 10 in white, matched up with Colt Ryan, number 11 in purple. Marty Simmons wants a clear out for Colt Ryan. One-on-one with Grant Gibbs.
6 to shoot. Ryan, another counter. Taylor underneath. And stripped underneath as he gets his own rebound. And they're going to count the basket here.
Wow. Troy Taylor, they list him at 6 foot. I stood next to him. He's not even 5'10". The leading rebounder for Evansville just got the biggest offensive rebound of the game. Amazing what this kid does, pound for pound, inch for inch. The leading rebounder for Evansville.
He came into the game with 34 offensive rebounds. And one of a dozen point guards in Division I basketball who leads his team in rebounding. But how many are 6 feet tall or less? A 3-point play for Troy Taylor.
Boy, McDermott double teamed on the block. That allows the space to drive.
And Jones on the left side with the left hand. The left-hander's got a chance for a 3-point play.
Mitch, 2 defenders are on the right. Look at them. They sandwich Doug McDermott. What does that do? It allows the dribble drive to the left-hand side. The defense so focused on McDermott. It is an absolute chasm on the left-hand side of the rack.
4 fouls on Denver Holmes, but Jones not good at the line. He was good enough there. A 3-point play to answer a 3-point play. We are tied in overtime in Omaha.
Offensive equation simple for Evansville. Let Colt Ryan dictate the offensive game. There he is. He's matched up, quickness mismatch. Marty Simmons puts everybody down the baseline so Ryan can use his quickness against Echenique.
They flatten it out, a 1-4 flat look. 9 seconds for Ryan to work.
Antoine Young's going to double.
A 3, Colt Ryan. And a foul on Evansville on Kenny Harris on the rebound. Hal Lusk has the call. 3 on him, and Marty Simmons incensed.
I think Colt Ryan made his first misread of the night offensively. He had a quickness advantage against Echenique. Instead, he pulls up for the jump shot with the best shot blocker in the conference right in his face.
Short. McDermott has been to the line 12 times. He has missed 7 free throws. He is normally 83%, and coming into tonight, he had never missed a free throw in his career against Evansville.
That was a leg miss. He adjusts right there.
Well, I wonder if the Colt Ryan decision not to go was a leg, hey, I'm out a little bit of steam to go to the basket.
But again, why settle for the J if your legs are tired? You got to explode to the rack.
Timeout, Marty Simmons. 1:04 to go in overtime. Evansville has it when we come back. Incredible game tonight in Omaha. Creighton leads 91-90. Career high for Colt Ryan, 41 points. The nation's third leading scorer, Doug McDermott, with 21 points. But tonight, Mark Adams, he is 6 of 13 at the foul stripe. He has not missed more than 2 free throws in a game all year. Tonight, he's missed 7.
And the last couple looked like weary legs, but he adjusted on his last free throw. Colt Ryan with 41 points tonight. If you're Marty Simmons, you're thinking 2-for-1 possessions now. 1:04 to go. Ideally, if Evansville can get a quality shot at about the 50-second mark, they're going to be assured of about 15 seconds for the last possession of the game, probably. That's what I'm thinking as a coach right now. And I'm going to get Colt Ryan the basketball somehow, some way. $50 seconds.
Ryan, tough shot. Got it! Colt Ryan, 43 for the lead.
And Marty Simmons just assured himself one last possession with that last execution in the half court.
A new arena record of scoring here at CenturyLink Center. Jones using the screen. Nailed it. Josh Jones. 6 in the overtime. 1-point lead, Creighton.
Number 11 in purple. Just watch.
Deep three, Ryan. No, Creighton. Rebound. Victory. What an incredible home court victory for the Creighton Blue Jays.